Happy Monday. I am rested. I am awake. I am ready for this week. It's going to be a great day. I'm being all fidgety with the stuff. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Monday, March 2nd, 2020. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. I remember when coffee, like right out of the machine, good morning, Casper, was too hot. And apparently I burned my mouth enough that I don't care. I can just drink this stuff if I have to. But I know, I don't have to. I like coffee. I'm going to enjoy my coffee. Well, 1/6, more than 15% of 2020 is already gone. That seems insane. Time just goes so fast. If you don't have time to do the things that you want to do that are important to you, don't wait. Time, you don't get it back. Well, speaking of time, I spent a lot of time this weekend on martial arts stuff. So I told you on Friday, had some good things planned on Friday. Drove south, did some Superfoot training with Master Terry Dow, Mr. Paul Milhole, and we had a great time, had a lot of fun. Continued to drive south, stopped off, did a little bit of work at a coffee shop, and then met Paul up at his school in Connecticut, West Hartford, Connecticut. Taught some, what did I say we taught? I would say it was mostly Taekwondo. Taught his classes. Shout out to, what was her name? I forget her name. Young woman I got to work with in the adult class, had a great time. We did everything from Filipino stick work to jisao to some sparring. Oh, had a great time. Had a lot of fun. Went to dinner, hung out with Paul, crashed at his place. He's got a great family, love his family. Thank you to the Milhones for letting me stay over. And then went to a tournament just outside of Hartford to support the team. The team was there, so it all worked out. And that was a long tournament. When did I get there? About 8:30? When did I leave? 5? Ugh. 5. This is the longest I've been in a tournament since I hosted one. And I don't think I left much after that when I hosted one. It was an interesting day. Let's just put it that way. I saw people doing some good stuff. I saw people doing some not so good stuff. Unfortunately, there were some things reinforcing the fact that not everyone, well, the black belt is a good person. Yesterday, I celebrated my mother's birthday with the family. We had a good time. Then I came home and did some meal prep for the week. Just otherwise did things getting ready for the week. Now, yesterday, I was at the grocery store picking up some stuff for Mom's birthday, and we all brought some food and everything. And bump into a good friend of mine. And I'm in the card aisle, picking out a card. And I said, "What are you doing here?" You know, because he didn't have a card. He was just looking for the bathroom. "Oh, my daughter's out front selling Girl Scout cookies." Oh, man. Now I'm going to buy Girl Scout cookies. Because it's easy to ignore the table when you don't know anybody behind it. Well, now I know one of the kids. And the dad's there. Ugh. So I bought a couple boxes of cookies, and I gave one box to Mom. All mothers love Thin Mints. I don't know why, but they do. So I gave her a box of Thin Mints. And I bought myself a box of Samoas, which I may or may not have cracked into last night while meal prepping. Samoas are the best. They're good. It was the first thing with coconut I ever liked. Today it's Monday. We've got an episode of Martial Arts Radio. Mr. Jeff Kelly. Jeff Kelly? Kelly. Mr. Kelly. Yeah, Jeff Kelly. Part of my brain wants to say Jim Kelly, which of course is the guy that we all know because of Enter the Dragon. Jeff Kelly. Had a great conversation with Mr. Kelly. Told us some really cool stories. I feel like I say that about every episode. Frank said that the Girl Scouts had a table at his grocery store yesterday too. It's a great place to be. I think the only thing that's better years ago, and this has become kind of a joke cliche now, but I remember there were some enterprising young women in Colorado who set up in front of a marijuana dispensary. And they killed it. And if I was doing it today, if I was a Girl Scout, that's where I'd go. Because we're better. But I did a good conversation with him, so check that out. Of course, YouTube, your podcast feed, or whistlekickmartialartsradio.com. What's going on today? Headed out to do some work. Got a couple phone calls in there. It's going to be a long day. But you do what you got to do, right? It is unlikely I'm going to do any training today. Probably not even going to get to the gym. So I will get my steps as I walk back and forth down an office hallway. Hooray. It's okay. Every day can't be the day you want it to be, but it doesn't mean you don't fight for it. Spent a lot of time with my plants yesterday, and I'm just noticing them. Looking forward to getting some of them outside, repotting some of them, and honestly like selling some of them because they're huge. But let's talk about things that are more martial arts related. We've got some questions, and if you want to ask a question, drop it below. I'll answer it tomorrow. March is Nutrition Month. We've heard you talk about health and fitness podcasts, but do you listen to any nutrition podcasts? Not explicitly. The podcasts that I get a lot of health, or rather a lot of health and fitness advice, tend to cover nutrition topics. And I'll tell you the three that I am most prone to listen to. In the number one slot, I don't usually talk about other podcasts, but in the number one spot is Mind Pump, which I find to be really entertaining. I agree with probably 80% of what they say. Some of the things that they talk about, around lifting and health and nutrition, they are generally spot on. When they start veering off into other subjects, they have a decent chance of being wrong. Like when they talk about CrossFit, they're usually wrong about something. Not all of it, but they're usually wrong about some things. And so that makes me wonder about some of the stuff. But their nutrition advice, yeah, they're pretty good. The next two, which I don't listen to very often, just because I can't listen to everything. I got one from, what's his name? Ben Greenfield. Ben does some pretty interesting research on himself and even experimentation. And then the Model Health Show with Sean Stevenson. I like both of those shows, not as much as Mind Pump, and more because of just the flow of a show with multiple people and versus one person talking. It's hard work making a show that's one person talking entertaining, and that's why I try to keep the topic shows short, because I know if I try to take a topic and go for an hour on it, Keep it informative, keep it dense. Podcasts are great. I like podcasts. I like audiobooks. I've been on a Bill Bryson kick lately. I go through those periodically because he reads his own books. And if you're not familiar with Bill Bryson, you might be familiar with his most popular work, A Walk in the Woods, which they turned into a movie that I heard was terrible, so I avoided it. But he has this wonderful writing style, and I really enjoy the way he reads his books. And I'm just about finished with one that he wrote called At Home, where he goes room by room in the house and uses that as a structure for explaining the history of man. You know, so he goes into the bathroom and you end up on a 90-minute detour talking about wastewater and when sewers were constructed and how the toilet was invented and disease. And it sounds like, I'm aware as I'm saying this, it sounds like it should be absolutely terrible and boring, and it's not. It's fascinating. It's fascinating, and I actually find it really enjoyable. But the funniest work that he does is A Walk in the Woods, and he's got one on Australia called In a Sunburned Country that is both very entertaining and educational. I like learning stuff. What is the best nutrition advice you have ever gotten? This is an interesting question because I'm on the verge of I'm doing the mental stuff right now. I'm on the verge of writing what I'm going to label a nutrition book that some people are going to call a diet book, which I find really. I'm struggling because in a sense, I am not qualified, and that's why it needs to be written, because I'm sick of all these books coming out and making all these really stupid claims. Best nutrition advice I ever got. Probably there was someone I was working with briefly, and she told me she wanted half my calories to come from fat. And that started me on this path of realizing that fat is not bad, and the majority of what we've been taught about food not only has been wrong, it's been intentionally wrong. If you grow up with a food pyramid, I hate to say it, that was intentionally wrong. And a lot of people became really unhealthy because of it, and it's unfortunate. Why? Because some people wanted to sell more bread. I said bread funny. Bread. People wanted to sell more bread. I'm very aware I have to shave. I'm getting fuzzy. Almost furry. I don't like it. My chin's itching. I'll probably shave before I go to work. Before I leave the house. I'm always at work. I was responding to emails yesterday at the gym. That's me pantomiming working out and doing emails. What other nutrition advice? What I'm thinking about here, I'll tell you a little bit about this book and the idea of this book. Most books that come out on nutrition seem to be one of two categories. Either here's a whole bunch of really new science that is unapproachable for the everyday person, or here's a diet book that is so grossly oversimplified that it isn't going to work long term. It doesn't take reality and life into account. So I'm imagining this book that would be 12 principles leading to 12 actions that you incorporate one per month. So first month you do this thing. So let's say it would be the principle could be around hydration and the importance of water and how water the mechanism in the brain that responds to thirst is the same that responds to hunger. And so you write up a bit about how that works and why that works. People can read it if they want to. They can understand it if they want to. And then the action would be, the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning is you drink a big glass of water. That's it. And you commit to doing that every day for the course of the month. And then it becomes a habit, and you start to see some change. You say, wow, cool. And then the next month, it's another principle turning into another action. You keep drinking the water every day, and then you add something else. And the idea is that after a year, you look back and go, wow, I've come a really long way. And you feel a lot better, and your health's better, and you haven't done anything dramatic, and you haven't spent a whole bunch of money, and slow and steady, right? Other principles are around walking and protein, and I don't know, I don't have 12 yet. I haven't done all 12 yet, but I bet I could come up with it. Maybe it won't be 12. I like 12 because the idea of doing it for a year seems cool. All right, next. What do you think of the paleo diet? So for those who may be unfamiliar, the paleo diet was really popularized within the CrossFit community, and it spread from there. Certainly did not originate in that group, but the idea of paleo, who's the guy? I'm trying to remember. What's his name? Hey Google, who?
Rob Wolf.
Rob Wolf.
Paleo Solution. The
Rob
original
Wolf.
human diet.
Yeah. Rob Wolf. So Rob Wolf, if you want an interesting bit of kind of juicy example of how people stop maturing in middle school, you can go read about Rob Wolf and CrossFit. Wolf spelled with Rob spelled with two B's. R-O-B-B? Yeah. Anyway, so first learned about that from there. And the gist is, what did human beings eat 5,000, 10,000 years ago? That's what you should model your diet on now. Meat, vegetables, some fruit, very little grain, no grain, little dairy, no added sweeteners, no added crap, you know. And that's led to people saying, try this paleo donut, and we're trying to shoehorn modern food into that. But here's the thing. If you eat true paleo, the way I would define paleo as meat, fish, nuts and seeds, vegetables, a little bit of fruit, it's really hard to overeat. It's really hard to overeat good whole foods. It's when you start adding other stuff in. That's when it becomes problematic. And if you eat that way, you tend to lose weight. You tend to be healthier. So I think it's a good thing. I think it's the way, not in a dogmatic way, but in a general way, it's how most people should be eating. Excuse me. Yeah. Vegetables first, meat second, nuts and seeds third, fruit probably fourth. Everything else a distant fifth. If you do that, it's really, there's a lot of good food in there, right? I don't know about you, but a really nice piece of tuna on the grill, some salt and pepper, maybe some lemon juice. It's phenomenal. It doesn't need heavy sauces and crap added to it. Good food tastes really good. I think a lot of the things that we're trying to call, see, and this is the issue, right? Calling it a diet implies that it's not something we should be doing every day, and it is. It is. The general principles around paleo are what we, assuming you believe in evolution, this is what we have evolved to eat. This is how our bodies have adapted. And everything else that people are doing right now, keto, etc., are these kind of extreme versions of that. Take a look at the keto diet. What keto truly is a relabeling of Atkins. Lots of fat. Where do you get fat? Meat. Low carb. Okay, so you're eating a little bit of vegetable, right? Why is that working for people? Because it's an extreme correction over what they have been doing. It's not sustainable because you don't get enough, you don't get the nutrients. You need more than that. I don't know. There's too many books in my head, too many things I want to share. I'm working on the strength and conditioning program. We're back working on that. I got feedback from the second round coming back now, so I got more work to do on that. And gosh, hoping to launch that soon. I don't know when. As I was putting it together, the original intent was that as I released it, it was going to have, I was going to link to videos that other people had done just to get it out sooner. And I realized that I can't do that. So I'm going to have to do some video work, which means getting some help from somebody, because videoing myself doing exercise movements, that's going to be really hard. Okay. All right. Well, I think it's time to call it. Thanks for coming by. Remember, if you want to support what we're doing at Whistlekick, whether you're watching this show on Martial Arts Radio or checking out some of the other things, we've got a bunch of books on Amazon and more coming out. You can go to whistlekick.com, check out the stuff we make there. You have an awesome day as well, Stacy. If you want to take a discount, first cup 15, save you 15%. And we've got the Patreon, patreon.com/whistlekick, and that's where you get to learn more about the behind the scenes, and you get at least one original podcast episode every month, as well as some other stuff, just whatever, because it's a closed group. I use it as a sounding board on some things. So if you want to support us, that's another way you can do it. If you want to ask a question, drop it below or email me, jeremy@whistlekick.com. Remember, you can get this show on YouTube or in your podcast feed. I hope you have absolutely amazing day. And now, for your homework, go drink a glass of water. Keep it easy. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care. Peace.